Just taking a little bit for the live stream to load. 1 second.
We got that worked out from last night.
Yes, good. All right, we are all set. As this is the first meeting, and as the secretary, I'm gonna start to do the roll call before we do the election of officers. I'm just gonna. William Pepper Austin.
Present.
Sheila Powell. Here. Ashley Blythe.
Here.
Chris Colson.
Here.
Chris Odd.
Here.
Kenneth Daniels is absent. Sandra Freeman.
Here.
DJ Browning.
Here.
Jeffrey Cohn.
Here.
Alrighty, we have a quorum. So the first item of business is to elect an officer to start to run the meetings for parliamentary procedure. And then a vice chair. So the vice chair will be serving as backup to the chair if they were ever absent. Are there any nominations on the floor for a chair?
Ashley. Ashley.
Ashley, just because you've been doing it so long, working your tail off.
Do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Okay.
Is there a way we can nominate to make this vote for the next meeting? No offense, Ashley, I just
No.
haven't met Miss Ashley yet, and I don't really know anyone here. I mean, you could be potentially.
We can start to do kind of introductions first, because technically we do need an officer to kind of run the whole meeting first.
Gotcha.
So if you want to start and do a little brief introduction.
Sure. So I guess I got involved sometimes like spring or late of 2023, beginning of 2024, when applications went out for the park board. Applied, we had our first meeting with Tom O'Rourke in March of 2024, and then in June, Tom O'Rourke left us. We then went through legal to get an ordinance adopted, and town council adopted that ordinance. That's kind of been this past year's process, and that's kind of where we are today.
Sandra?
You want to tell about me or just how I?
Yeah.
So, we've owned property here for 10 years and been in the house for a little over 9, and I just love it here, and we live right across the street from the park, our neighborhood, and so I really invested in how this shakes out, so that's why
I'm Chris Odd. I first moved to Mount Pleasant in 2002, in here for the Air Force. Moved away and I retired from the Air Force and came back in 2020. Moved to Omaha, I think for reasons why some of the other of us that moved out here, just nice, peaceful, quiet. I also live in the same neighborhood as Sandra, so definitely want to see the park develop into, everything that it could be. And that I have an interest in.
Sheila Powell. I think everybody knows this is small. As you know, we went away from military career, came back to the town with needs everything to me. I've been involved in the town since forever. Just so that a little background to this room. This room was the place where I earned my first paycheck at 14 years old. Working in this building right here, showed you with the head start. My first ever paycheck in this room. Pay back on whatever I could do as far as volunteering, doing whatever. Me, my husband, several others, when we had our first 10-year anniversary, that floor was painted with us on the floor. And that is an awesome reminder of the legacy that my husband left for his volunteers and for fans. So I am knitted into this process because this is the place that I love and I would so be here. So whatever I can do to help the process. And when Bill took me on my first ever tour of that park, once the water was set in and we went all the way around it, I started dreaming about what that would be, not only for my children, your children, this community's children, because it has a wealth of opportunities in that park. And that's why I was.
Awesome. Well, my name is William Pepper Austin. I'm born and raised in Ondale, South Carolina. My grandfather was actually the first mayor of this beautiful town called Ondale, and it's just I moved away for a little bit for college and my career, and I just had the opportunity to move back home. And so now I'm here. I want to do my best to give back to my community one way or another. At some point, want to end up on council at some point in life, but I think this is a great start because I also remember when that park was first initiated, and I remember a lot of things around here. So I just want to do my part in keeping this town, the beautiful town it is, and adding more value to it. So
My name is Chris Colson, and we have lived in Onondaga for 20 years. I'm married to Cheryl, been married about 45 years. I'm not from South Carolina, but Cheryl is. She grew up right down the road in Mount Pleasant. And we found our house here and bought it, and we've been there quite a while. And I've been working my whole till about a year ago, and I retired, so I was looking for some way to help out the community. Here I am, glad to be here.
I'm PJ Browning and I have been in Alta since 2015. So I by trade a newspaper brat of 43 years, and so I run the Post and Courier now. But as far as living out in Alta, we call it our little slice of heaven. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Have 5 grandchildren, and I'm all about a good story. And I think that park has a lot of great stories that will feed families into the future. So I'm really excited about being on this committee.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Cohen. I'm also the son-in-law of the late Reverend Austin, who was the mayor of the town. I used to work in Park and Recreation for 29 years. I have a lot of history with the town. I also served on town council here for 9 years, many moons ago. The basketball court outside, the shelter out there, that was all under construction of my supervision. The basketball court at the town, at Thompson Hill Playground, that was all done under my supervision. Even the baseball field out there, it's done all under my supervision. So I have a lot of park and recreation experience. I'm just here to serve for whatever I can do in this community. I love it here. Been here since 1987. Don't plan on going anywhere else.
Want to introduce yourself, Steve?
Yes, thank you. I'm Steve Carroll. I'm born and raised in Charleston, James Island, Mount Pleasant. We own a ticket company and a consulting company, so we do events all over Charleston. Done Folly Beach, obviously. We do some at Boone Hall. We do some for the town of Mount Pleasant, and we were fortunate enough. A friend of mine that was on council, Robert Causey, brought us in to help him with the Blue Crab Festival 2 years ago. And it was, I think it was a great success. And y'all just have one of the most wonderful natural assets around. It's that park is unbelievable, and I don't feel like anyone knows it's there, and it's definitely not utilized the way it should. And when I sit out there and look at that lake, we bought a bunch of picnic tables at the Blue Crab Festival, and I said, we're gonna leave them here, because I want people to be able to come down here and eat lunch and check this place out. It's unbelievable. So it lacks infrastructure, and I'm here to help anybody I can to get some awareness to the park and complement what it is, and any way I can be part of it if I want to.
You, Steve.
I can do a brief introduction of myself. I'm the new town administrator. I started in January. Little history, I actually did work with Steve when I started off my career at the city of Folly Beach. I was in utility billing, business licensing, permitting, events. And then I also did, I was the municipal clerk. And then I moved to the town of Super Island, where I was the assistant town administrator. Started about 3.5 years, and then now I'm here. And then we also have Kenneth Daniels. He just joined us on the phone. He's traveling right now. Kenneth, can you hear us?
He just got out.
Oh, well, he is traveling, so if he's unable to join, we can fill him in as well. Did that held like a
Really
brief.
something, yeah.
So we still have, one nomination on the floor, well, technically three, but it's for the same person, for Ashley. Um. So we have Sandra Freeman, PJ Browning, and Chris Colson. Are there any other nominations on the floor?
I nominate Michelle Powell.
Hi, Ken. Good afternoon. I have you on speaker here at Town Hall for our first official park board meeting. Sitting here with Catherine.
Oh, okay.
I am, you may use the window as such an cab.
Okay, thank you for calling in.
I think Ms. Powell is not my nomination.
Oh, you. Alright, so are there any? So right now, the nomination on the floor is Ashley. Are we ready to call a vote? Alright, taking that, would you like me to do a roll call vote, or would you like me to just poll everybody?
To hands.
Yeah, all in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed?
Oh, yeah, Ken can't really raise his hand on the phone.
And did you abstain from voting?
I did, sorry.
Alright, well, you are the chair. By a positive vote. Now, do we have any nominations for the vice chair?
I nominate William.
I nominate William.
Do you both accept your nominations for vice chair? Sorry, just writing this down. Alright, since there are two nominations on the floor, one for Jeff Cohen and one for William Pepper Alston, I am going to do this as a roll call vote. Going down the line, and you will state who you're going to be voting for.
Can I,
Oh,
let me just decline that, and something to do that.
are you sure?
Just positive.
Okay.
It's my nephew, if I need to help him, I can help him.
No worries. Alrighty, so now we only have one nomination on the floor for William. All those in favor? All opposed? Did you abstain?
Perfect.
Alright, well, you are now the vice chair. We now officially have a chair and vice chair, so I'll pass this over to Ashley.
Okay. Awesome. I'm excited to get started. Is this gonna make a motion to amend? I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to adopt rules and procedures. It's not on the original. Second?
So moved.
Yeah. Alright.
So Ms. Browning made a motion to amend the agenda to adopt rules and procedures, and Ms. Browning has seconded.
Second.
Any discussions about the motion? Okay, for the vote. Yeah. All those in favor? Opposed? Alright,
Clarify that would be under Robert's Rules of Order. As rules of procedure.
that would be the next one, because we just added it to adopt rules and procedures,
Okay.
and now it would be another motion for how you guys vote.
Okay. So I make a motion, to adopt Robert's Rules of Order as our rules of procedure.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
I'm sorry.
Alright. So we'll follow Robert's rules.
Okay. So I see now we get to fun stuff. Steve. Let's talk about the Owl Festival.
All right. So we are. Our website's up, our social media's up, our radio partner is the Charleston Radio Group. Who also did the Blue Crab Festival, and they do a lot of stuff for us. They used to be, they're on Clements Ferry Road, they own 5 stations. Across the board, they do everything from Star of the Box, Kicking Country. They've got a sports thing, they cover every genre of radio. So they're partnering with us to do a rev share on the tickets, so they're gonna give us. $10,200 worth of radios promo for $1 on every ticket that we do. Which is, I feel like it's a good deal. Our social media company, our media company is Little Dog Ad Agency, they're a company in all, their husband, wife. They do, they work out of their house, they work out of their house. They do a bunch of restaurants, they do food hall, they do the Windsor on Ellis, they do all the festivals at Folly Beach. So they're doing our marketing, that's underway. We teamed up with the town and loaded everything on the cat, with everything on the town website. So we're off and running, and we got about 3 weekends before this festival kicks in. We opened an open account today. It was funny how our contract was through our consulting company, but we felt like we needed all Municipal Park to have its own entity. So we opened an account for them, where whatever we do at the park can run through that account. It's brand new, it's clean, has nothing else on it. Easy to document, Chris, I'll show you all this. We had to go through two things to do it, so it was a little confusing. But, so we haven't spent any money at y'all's yet. We have $20,000 that the town wrote us a check for, which is in our account. And we are getting ready to spend some money, so we've booked bands. We've booked food trucks, we've got about 46 vendors so far. We've got 6 food trucks. And then our VIP sponsor is Pages of the Grill, supporting them live up this way. And they're super excited to be, she called me to see how to get tickets. And I called her to say, why don't you sponsor our VIP? So, they do it right. They have a produce farm up here too. I think they're gonna be part of it. So they're gonna set up VIPs, serve our VIPs, and they're gonna sell to the public with their big truck and all. So I think it'll be a nice setup. The bands are, we booked a little country band and we booked the Motown funk band. So the Secrets are a Motown funk band. They're awesome. They've been playing Charleston for 50 years. James Holmes, those guys, they work on the ports authorities. But they've been doing weddings and music. They've done, I don't know, like 14 New Year's Eve. They're awesome. Everybody will dance and have fun, I promise you. And then we put a little country band in there to open it up, just to mix it up and give something for everybody. We are, we're dealing with the Department of Natural Resources for the kids area. And the town of Mount Pleasant is also gonna sponsor something in the kids area. So they'll rent some jump castles or something. I have an event with them tomorrow, so we'll get the details of it. But DNR is gonna bring out they have some simulators, so they're like 18-wheeler boxes. And you open them up, they open up a couple different places, and they have like a offshore fishing simulator. They have a little hunting simulator, and they have a what's the other? I forgot. It's all nature, wildlife, ocean, woods, kind of stuff that represents those guys. So they'll bring those out and set them up for free. They'll go with the kids area. We're trying to make the kids area really fun. And last time we did a bunch of jump castles, and we had big ones and little ones. So, you know, the older kids were wearing it out. I'll tell you, they had a big old time out there. I don't know where they got the energy with the heat that was going on that day, but so music, plenty of good food, lots of vendors, the great VIP host. So we're still taking vendors, still taking some food trucks. So I'll go up to 8 food trucks. I think I want everybody to have a good day and not, you know, not let them feed off each other. But I think a good number is we go into the tickets. The ticket sales are media really hard. We're about 100 tickets right now. which is, our radio hasn't started, so our social media started. So anybody who's on social media sees it, we got into a bunch of the all and all. There's a bunch more people interested on that social media stuff, but not, they haven't bought tickets yet. And I figured getting through Easter was big and getting through the last weekend, the Bridge Run and Flower Town and, the Family Circle Cup, those things just take away a lot, I feel. Or there's just so much going on. So if anybody's on social media, you can share it. We have an Instagram page, we have a Facebook page, we have a website. We have the town website. It's all fast, we were playing with Seaweed Festival and we ditched that midstream, so we went AWE Fest for all and all, awesome, what it's all about out here. So we went off fest, just thought it was catchier. It's fest.com is the website, and you can get any information, you can share that whole link to anybody you want, you can text it, email it. Send it social media, spread the word or asking people to spread the word, I feel is beneficial to us. So the radio will start, they'll start with a digital campaign and a radio campaign. And I feel like that is, gonna be big. And then this week, we will email everybody who bought a ticket from the Blue Crab Festival, everybody who bought a ticket from the Oyster Festival, Taste of Charleston, and most of the big shows at the Windjammer. And someone else. Oh. And then we reserved a booth at the Shrimp Festival. Figured the week before, and it was right up the street. That we would put a booth out there with our banners, and if anybody wants to volunteer that day. We'll have some QR codes and some posters where people can buy tickets or at least get the information at that festival. We just figured it's right up the street and we could help each other get some people out in this area. So we're really working Georgetown to North Mount Pleasant is what we're really going for. We had a big sponsor, title sponsor, and they backed out of it about a week and about 10 days ago. The new Jeep dealership by Costa, you've seen that humongous building there. They were all ready to go, their grand opening was coming and they were just rah. And they opened up and they haven't had quite the business, I guess they were thinking they were gonna come out with. So they pulled the plug. But I went to Starling Chevrolet. And Joe's a buddy of ours, he says he wants to be involved, he said he wants to park trucks on that hill and take a great promo picture, so, I think it sets up good, so maybe somebody will buy a new truck from you and it'll pay for all your expenses, so we're in the process of working with that as we speak. Volunteers, okay, I know, so we've sent out this sponsor package. It's digital online, on the town's website, on any of our information. This has a QR code on it to buy tickets, but if anybody who knows somebody who has a local business, we're doing a local business sponsorship and we're doing a Friends of the Festival sponsorship. And then there's a bunch of other categories on here. Some of them are high dollar, some of them are not, a couple $100. You can pay, we put a link on, you can pay these sponsors online, there's a donate button you can push online, so if you wanna give to the park or give to the cause. I've reached out to, and I don't know who might know where the old Kicking Horse Saloon is. Right. Elliot. Yeah. So Elliot, I heard Elliot has a wonderful charity, and I heard he does great work, and we have a mutual friend. Who introduced us, but he's a busy man. Or we got terrible time, one or the other, but I would love to get his charity involved if they're. So a couple charities would be really cool. Woodwood
Farms.
Woodwood Farms. I don't know if they're in Illinois or not. I've heard about them a bunch. I don't know if Birds of Prey is a charity or not. I don't know if there's, y'all know the charity that should be involved, that we can donate some proceeds to get them involved, but we always like to have a good charity on board. And I'd like it to be local, some sort of meaningful to,
Friends of Coastal South Carolina.
what's that?
Friends of Coastal South Carolina.
That's a charity?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not they
nonprofit.
do educational.
Yeah,
programs.
perfect. Well, we're trying to get birds of prey out. So my buddy John Powell runs the Southeastern Wildlife Expo. He's on that board, I think. So he hooked me up with the DNR guys. And he's so glad we changed the name from Seaweed Festival, just for the record, but.
Yeah.
There's the Southeastern Wildlife, but their acronym is Seaweed. And they were very touchy about that scenario. So, but he's on that board. He's talking about bringing out the birds to demonstrate like they do downtown. So they fly, they land in certain places and they get certain things. And I thought that would be a wonderful, anybody that can teach on the water, I feel with the lake, I feel is an asset that they have, just the educational part and the awareness part. So, hey, we're looking for charities. We're still taking vendors. We're still taking, couple food trucks. We'll probably sort them out if they come up with a few just where we're not duplicating the same products. Like a bunch of barbecue or a bunch of seafood or somebody where they're not having to compete so much. This year, we're totally allowing vendors to sell non-alcoholic beverages. We're not in August like we were on a blue crab. So, I mean, we had these crazy heat exhaustion problems out there that it's really scary. We probably had like 28 people be treated. Thursday, I'm meeting with the county police, the chief of fire department, the EMS people, everybody, the medical response team. We're setting up a first aid tent at the entrance of the event, so it'll be real easy if you're lost or you not feeling well or you need some kind of assistance. We're gonna set them up and they're gonna bring a bunch of equipment. Maybe the kids can play on it or see it, or fire trucks or whatever. We love them to be involved. So we're doing a walkthrough with them at 2:00 on Thursday. If anybody wants to join, we're gonna be there, all those busy, important people in one place at one time to make sure we have a good safety plan there. Charities, so volunteers are the other thing we're really looking for. If anybody wants to volunteer that day, so we'll have a trash crew that's picking up the entire time, rolling some big like recycling trash cans around, cleaning up as we go. And we'll have a big dumpster out there that we can get everything on the property and off the property in a day or two. So it'll be clean out there, protect that beautiful space. We'll run I have a parking company, but we're meeting with the police to try to get them to get that traffic off the road faster. Last time we only had one gate open. It was not smooth as we could be for sure, but we're gonna open up all the gates. It'd be nice if we could get that back lot cut before then. The third gate, if you will, going out that way. There's a lot of parking there that would be really nice. To help get people off. We could open both gates and do it twice as fast. We do have a local company, so I don't know if you know this or not, there's a new store opening up where the bridge is up here. Right at the town limit, I think, where the old like little hotel was right there. There's a store. They're gonna put in I should probably tell all the business, but they're gonna put in a convenience store there and maybe a restaurant. And they've gotten approved for some other things they're gonna do with that little creek right there. But I think they're gonna call it the All Yacht Club. That's what I hear. There's no joke. I don't come up with these things. I just hear them where I'm at. So anyway, he owns a tree service that's in Greg Cox, right?
Yeah.
So Greg is gonna do our hayride for our children the day of the event.
Okay.
So I told him if he would do that, he could, he could maybe advertise his new place, out there. So I think that'll be something cool too. Now, the people who make all the safety important decisions, and I was on a phone call, so I couldn't tell who was saying this, but they were really not in favor of our boat rides.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of big gators out there,
You know,
and there's not really a clean access point. There is the kayak boat launch, but it's.
so we passed on that just for liability, for many reasons, and those gators are, or it'd be nice to get that big gator out of the street.
Yeah. DNR doesn't move them unless they start to become nuisance alligators.
I have a friend that does that private business, and he's so good, and he's an old timer, but they'll come up and they'll wrap themselves up and he'll put them in his truck and let them loose in Florence County, and I don't think he's expensive. I'm willing to do that if nobody's against. There's a big one, he's been there for a long time, I have a feeling. All right, we need a charity, so if y'all gonna help with that? Or you know somebody that's worthy or maybe needs a little help,
We
or
don't see yourself.
somebody wants to reach out to Elliot, I'd love to get, I think the senior center is it a,
I don't know how it operates, do you?
I think last time it was in a nonprofit or something, is it a nonprofit?
I have to back up and ask, do we have a budget for this? And I'm sorry if I'm late in the game, we need to fly on, just let me know, but, like, what's the budget, what's the expectations? As we're talking about a charity, is an external charity, or is this to raise money to support something new at the park?
A charity would be something that we donate proceeds to when we raise money, we just always do. It sounds good, looks good, it makes you feel good, the park is, your charity. So I'm trying to say, if there's a charity for my side of it, we'd like to have a charity that means something to the community. So. And the budget is, and we could go over that if you want to, but the budget is, the town put up $20,000 to invest in a festival. Based off what we did
So
last
also
time.
that 20,000 is for this festival?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And what's our expected return?
Well, we don't know, right? It's a brand new festival. This has been talked about a bunch of times already before we got the money, I think, before y'all voted on them. But, if, I feel last time we did an event, both sides made $37,000 a piece. So those are my expectations, is that's what we did the first one, so.
What do we have to have ticket sales at to reach your expectations?
Couple thousand people.
That we're at 100 now?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm assuming we have permits and all these legal things because the festival is a big, a big deal. I've attended a couple and, you need a ton of legal permits in order to make this happen. So I'm assuming that's already covered.
Well, your old side of it is, the permits and the insurance, park, so, yeah, we do that, no, we're not gonna do something that's not,
Is that
standard. We do a lot of festivals, just no offense, but, let's see. There's a contract that's been done with y'all's town attorney. And your board and our company.
And we'll make sure for like the insurance side, because everybody else, like all of the vendors and all of the food trucks. And like the junk houses will have their own liability insurance, but if we're selling alcohol, we'll get beer and wine insurance. Covered for that, then.
Is that a part of the 20,000? That we're-
No, I found one that's like for $200.
Yeah.
That covers it for the 1 day, insurance. You can also do it if you do it for a charity for some of the bigger ones. If the charity then gets the liquor or like the alcohol liability insurance, they would sell the alcohol. And then, they would keep a portion of that proceeds for like.
And they
as a
have to
donation.
pull the permit.
Yeah, they would have to pull.
But when you talk about bounce houses and things, we do a lot of events too, the insurance policy, they don't like bounce houses either. So I just wanted to make sure, I guess we need to,
The insurance policy, when you start to rent a bounce house, you have to, the company carries it from whoever you're renting from.
and then they name us additionally insured.
Yes.
Steve, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And, I know some things have changed, tweaked since the, inception of this committee. And I've heard the part where you're speaking about the charities, but where is the part where we're raising monies to put into the pot?
That's one.
That's what y'all side is putting your money back into the park. That's what we're trying to do, to build your infrastructure in the park.
Okay, so to make sure I'm understanding, so we're not saying all of the proceeds is going to charities.
I'm not saying it, we didn't say what percentage is going.
I just want to make sure I'm clear, because like I said, I think we started out where we were responsible to get the gates and this and that. And then it kind of rolled into, well, no, we can't do this, and it was thrown back, and it came back out, so I want to make sure I know exactly where we are.
Alright, so so what is the question?
Just making sure that for like the funds that we're raising, the
So-
proceeds from the event are gonna go back into the town's municipal park budget to help pay for. the
Yeah, and that's all in the contract. I mean, that's y'all's side of it is.
Can we get a copy of the contract?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, you're not taking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very detailed contract, so those answers are in there, but that's what that's what raising the funds and or before the infrastructure of the park.
So Steve, just to be clear, you mentioned that dollar was going back to someone, right? That wasn't the charity, but that was for the promotion, right, for the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the ticket
Yeah.
sales, like $1 was going
$1
to radio
Yeah.
Right,
advertising. And
Right.
then you're just kind of asking for us, we're gonna need to make a decision on that if we wanna support a charity. Other than.
right. I was just looking for something that
Just as like a good.
Right.
it just it's every festival does some sort of the proceeds benefit, a portion of the proceeds benefit charity. It's just such a.
Okay.
So I just want to show, so the, our portion, we split proceeds, our portion goes to the park, your portion goes to you. And you're looking for your part to then have a charity tied to it.
And I'd like to be,
Yeah.
we deal with a bunch of them, but I'd like it to be somebody local.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that's a great idea. You obviously have birds of prey. We have what volunteer fire department. We have some other things that would definitely benefit.
Sure. When would
All
all
of them.
as an all, their address is already.
So I'd love to. So my good friend who runs a Wake Up Carolina, I don't know if you know Nancy or not, but you know, they do a lot of good stuff all over, but she was telling me how good Elliot was, so I've been reaching out, but I can't get him, somebody knows him.
So he's been advertising the,
Village.
he's been advertising the festival on his page.
Yeah, I tried to reach him.
I have a question about as far as, so as far as the All Fest itself, what's the mission? What are we showing on the All about? Like, I understand you were discussing the original CV people. I just want to make sure that all of on is reached. I think the Geechee Gala is the backbone of on. I'm being transparent with you. But I've checked out the website several times. I don't see anything referencing that. So I think it'll have a bigger impact in the ROI for the community itself.
Sure.
If you include the actual CV and the Geechee Gala people that, you know, pretty much built on them.
100%, I agree with you, then, you know, it's. When you're reaching out to so many people, it's effort. So people want to be involved, you gotta volunteer to be involved and to get people involved. But I mean, when I first did it, I said, any charity amount in all, it would be free, we wouldn't charge them to be in it, and any church. I'd love to have a church choir come sing, open up the ceremonies, you know, reach out to, my buddy Charles Singleton and, you know, he's a busy man, winning 2 Grammys, you know, I'd love to see his his dad's church or somebody's church in there. I'd like to see a choir. I'd like to see, I mean, I could get a Wando band, but.
Well, it's not necessarily about that, it's about just highlighting it. I'm not sure exactly what the intel is or what you guys are doing for the seaweed people, which is but highlighting the actual facts, maybe even putting up like a, I don't know, like a sweetgrass basket, just highlighting like an artifact of something that
Sure.
says, hey, these are the original people of Almond.
Sure.
So I'm not saying to require anything like that, just recognition of the native people that are here as well as the seaweed people. That's my.
I like it. I'd love to have a sweetgrass set up out there all day. So I just. Y'all's board, y'all's community. I mean, if we ask people to be involved, we're not gonna turn anybody down. I love that. I love to pick your brain on.
I mean, I'm all for it, but I mean, this event's 3 weeks away, so it's like this is already kind of set in stone.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
well,
so
so it's
that's-
still developing. Yeah, it's still developing.
If it needs to be pushed back, I mean, I'm open to that too, to make it correct, if we don't really invest 20 grand, let's do it right. You know, I don't wanna miss out on our ROI as a town as well. If it's not ready, then I think, in my opinion, we should push it back. My opinion, but
And I mean, I was wondering what's the mission of it too. I mean, it feels like it should represent,
Mhm.
like to make it special, make people want to come out, like.
Why are
What's
you
it about?
coming to Almond?
Right.
Yeah, some
More
of
than
the
food
discussions earlier were that, like, what is the theme?
Right.
So I think, I mean, we're looking right at like 4 total is in what we're trying for a year
Yeah,
for festivals. So
with different themes.
this, I don't know, what, if this one does have a theme, or basically we're just. This first one, I think we're just trying to raise money.
Yeah.
To build some of the infrastructure of the park, but as we go forward, yeah, you know, is that nature thing, is that
Right.
beachy thing, is that?
Cause I mean, as a.
We could decide that.
As a, you know, I think I can probably speak for the young community, like, especially growing up here, you know, when you see the All Fest. You know, we used to Blue Crab Festival, and the problem, I appreciate you helping out with that 2 years ago, but you see the All Fest and then you see like seaweed, it's kind of flat in the face to a lot of the natives there, to be honest with you. And so I do want to know kind of what the actual mission of this is, and I thank you for kind of clarifying it for me, but. I think something that this deep rooted needs to actually be like the actual mission, you know, you call it the All Fest, like this
Right.
is the Almond All Festival, let's be
Yeah.
real about it, let's not. Just try to make quick profit, and you know, I understand this, you're a businessman, we want to make money for the park. But if we're doing something of this magnitude, let's actually make it about the community development. And not just, you know, that's not half, but. Not saying you guys are, like I said, this is me just receiving all this information tonight and doing my due diligence, my research. From the website,
So is it too late to add something
No,
to the website?
no, we need the
I mean, I
involvement.
think that's what you're asking, right?
well, it's not, it's just the resources and limited time, it's 3 weeks until the event, so.
You probably change it to the next day or two, right? Yeah,
Change the name down we like.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I think all the marketing needs to be tied to like,
I just want to know so what is the vision that you guys have created for this?
So the vision is to raise the money for the park. That's the
That's-
mission.
okay.
That's the mission.
Okay.
Okay, the park's been sitting there, I don't know, I guess 3 events in the last.
So the office is just the idea of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I feel like you could easily do some kind of water expo there all day. I feel like you could get some kind of oyster roast in there. I think the good crab festival was, you know, work there. I think you could do a barbecue thing out there. I think that there's 100 festivals you can do.
1000%.
You know, you could do a arts and crafts, you could do a cultural affairs, you could do a jazz festival, you could do a country music festival. I feel like they're coming, but they wanted to start something, get something done. And, you know, we started with Seaweed Fest in a boardroom. And I say the boardroom, in a, where were we at? The side bar? Yeah. And we pumped around a bunch of ideas and, you know, the people that were there and that's what they came up with. So when they asked me, what can we do? I mean, I go to a festival because I like music and I like good food and I like good scenery and I like good vendors and I like good camaraderie. That's what we put together. The Owl Fest was you know, with the Seaweed Festival, I'm like, they don't spell Seaweed Outpost and Seaweed Restaurant the same. So there's more confusion on what that is, and then the Seaweed Festival that's been running 30, 40 years was like, don't use that name. So we switched in mid-cycle, which I think it sets up good. I really do. I think you got, you know, it just takes the push from everybody in this room, the community, anybody you know, the marketing will kick in. I think the festival will be fine, but you gotta have, you know, it'll be run well, the liability will be covered well, the park will be represented well, and you're trying to show people the venue where they will come and do more stuff at that park. Promoters, community, even, you know, these learning facilities, you know, that teach kids how to, you know, we do a surfer's healing on Folly Beach. It's one of the biggest days. I mean, we do 200 autistic children surf that day with professional surfers around the world. Have you heard of it?
Nope.
Okay, we should be doing it in that lake on paddle boards with the same kind of thing, you know what I mean? It's not a hard thing for to teach people, so the awareness of that park is not like, I'm just telling you, venues in Charleston, Tri-County area, it's hard to come by, a good venue. Unfortunately, that venue has no infrastructure whatsoever. So no one's gonna come and do it. Where you have to bring every single thing to it, it takes the money out of it. So you gotta build it, nothing happens overnight, I don't care what venue you have, what restaurant you have. If your best day is your last day, you're wasting your time.
So as a part of, I mean, it sounds like the purpose is to build out the park, help us build the park.
1,000%.
Is that
Okay,
something
there you
that
go.
we can
There's your
market? I mean, are we marketing we have this beautiful asset can help us
100%,
build out the park? I
100%.
mean, that's the purpose.
100%.
Is that stated anywhere on the site?
Yeah, it's on all the promo coming up. It's on all the promo coming up, and that's what it's for, is to build the park. And if you read the contract, y'all have it, it's your contract, it's your. Y'all represent the park. You can read those details, so. You can read all that detail, what it's about, what it's for, and how it's gonna split, and it's
I was just wondering about the logistics of the layout. Where are you gonna band and stuff? Are you gonna do it?
on Thursday at 2:00, and I'll go through it.
Okay.
But when we did the Blue Crowd, it's gonna be pretty much similar to that. Have you
Okay.
seen the picture? There's one on.
With the lake behind you?
Right.
Okay.
So the band will be dead center of the lake, because it's so, you know, it's the best backdrop. We will have a crab festival, we get 100 vendors, and it's too much, nobody can move and get around, you can hardly walk through them. So we said, let's ease into it and give them a good experience, and we're just not greedy and try to get it all at once, you know, you really gotta grow into that park, and you're gonna learn different layouts and different settings. You're gonna learn something every time. You learn about the parking, you learn about the traffic, you learn about the too many vendors. You want it to be fun and enjoyable. It's all about the experience, right? So you go somewhere, you enjoy an experience, and that's what it's about to us. So we want to create that. We want a family event. We want the kids to enjoy it. And, you know, it's I think it could be Off-Fest fits that place perfectly.
How much are the tickets?
They are $15 in advance, and the VIPs are $125 in advance. And they go up the day of. Last time we sold 400 and something VIPs, and I don't know, 2,500, 3,000. Okay, I have to look at the P&L. Y'all got one of those two from the last one, but the VIPs will sell faster, and they'll sell faster than the general admission. They just do. People like to go, have fun, have a nice place to sit, eat, air conditioned restroom, a shade, cover them. So the VIP is crazy how the VIP thing works so much, and our tickets are very cheap for any other festival. I think almost too cheap sometimes.
So my question in reference to the ticket. Is it a go at 100 tickets or 1,000 tickets? Or it's just gonna be a go wherever we are? In the ticket sales, you mentioned that it's sold 100 so far.
Yes,
Do you decide, we decide at a certain point if we haven't gotten to say the 500 marker? Is it still a goal?
yeah, I mean, we're, you know, when you book bands and stages and tents and stuff like that, yeah, we gotta go. We got.
And the other side of that is when you mentioned having to clean up the area in the park. I know we're at the end of town's budget, is it budgeted, where we've got money to take care of that right now?
For
The park, he wants to make sure that it has the appearance, neatly done.
I know we just recently had landscaping out there. I'm just gonna confirm where the third lot is in the back of the park to make sure that it is clear, because it was cleared for when we were out there last weekend for the Easter egg hunt. It was completely mowed and taken care of. The only thing that was missing that we saw that had little legs walk away were the big blue barrels that were there to collect trash from the Blue Prep Festival. They're no longer.
Is there a breakdown of how that 20 grand is allocated in the contract?
You'll get that at P and L at the end of the, tent stages, trash. Your typical festival buys.
So I guess for the town administrator, what other costs are we gonna have to end up paying for when it's all said and done? When it comes to us as a town, do you know?
For the festival?
Yeah, for the.
None.
No, yeah, we already,
After the $20,000, insurance covered.
Yeah.
We have permits, we're good to go and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it wasn't included in the 20.
well, it's like the insurance is only $200.
Well, why don't we take that out of the 20 grand? Why would we take that out of the?
It was part of the contract that the town has to pay for that, and we do have a park budget already, like a park. Checking account that'll be coming out of there. The town did budget it for last year. And
Okay, so the 20,000 did not come out of this.
it did, so it's like a little additional, so $20,000 went to that contract, but then another part of the budget, it lists out. Other costs for the event, they already budgeted that into their general fund.
We're trying to understand the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Well, I think we had $48,000 set aside for the park already to use for something, and we just took 20, because last time we both put in money. They said we're starting a brand new event, not one that's 20-something years old, so it takes a little more to get something off the ground when it does, say, a Blue Crab Festival that's had some history to it, when people go into it and recognizing the names. So building an inaugural event, we budgeted a little differently for that, so.
How many volunteers? Do you think we will need?
Well, I hired, I hire a security company and we bring our ticket people. And I got, one of the ladies from Wando High School who does the football team. They all need to do a certain amount of community work. So we have a good group coming, but anybody who wants to volunteer, I would say, if we had 50 together, we could run shifts on it and everybody doesn't have to work all day and people can enjoy themselves and people can it's hard to get so many volunteers are so different than it used to be, people is where my tickets and what do I get for free and instead of, hey, let me give some, I'd say 50 would be a good number. But I probably have half of that already. So, if we had 25, it'd be a great.
Is that mostly for parking
Yeah,
or what?
No, well, I got a company, I got a group that does parking for us, so if the police are bringing cars off the road, they will park them nice and tight in rows. So there's probably 6 people doing that already. Robert and them did a great job of that last time, but they didn't get the cars off the road fast enough. But I think with the police presence there, they can, it's like a college football game. Come on, come on, come on, the fair, come on, move it, keep it going. And then park good and get out safe. And they're directing road traffic at the same time. The volunteers, the gates, the jump castles always need some parents there just to make sure nobody gets hurt or bounces out or, the VIP is always good to have clean some tables or wipe down some stuff. The organizing the vendors in the morning. I mean, I have somebody that'll head up all those departments. If they just had some people to help them, I think it'd be good. Good to just to learn and see the people that are there and understand the park a little more.
You mentioned the trash would be moved in a couple of days or something to that effect.
Yeah,
Did we not consider putting on the higher contract that I'm talking to long do you have a trash person in your moment? Or you already got somebody that.
well, it'd be great if, when we use Holly Beach, we use a public service and they come in and sweep the street and everything, but different places do different things. Last time we brought in we use access portalets and dumpsters and they have all the stuff there that we need, bike racks and so they brought in like a roll off like you see on a construction site and we parked that behind, we hit it with portalets and then we had people working small bags and cans and they take them there, so it's all in one dumpster again. They drove off and the whole place was clean already. And the crab festival, that's another mess in itself, so. But it was all gone in a day or two, so. But it rained that day after, so we let the ground settle a little bit for the road crossing.
If I should consider on the sanitation.
Yeah, this is a local company.
Local.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you receive? I'm looking online, see all fest. What am I receiving in this VIP package?
You complimentary food and beverage,
Okay.
air conditioned restrooms, shaded cover for you to enjoy your own setting right by the lake.
When you say complimentary food and beverage from whatever vendors have to be?
No, they're in the VIP. When you're in the VIP.
Okay,
section.
so there's.
So Pages Oak Grill.
Oh, pages, you said that, yeah, okay.
I mean, I overall I think it's a good idea. I just think, if you're calling this the all-in-all festival, like I said, my greater fun is just, really hitting on the CV history and the development history. Just hit on that's the really important things. I understand the mindset and the plan. I obviously need money for facilities on the actual park. But something of this magnitude, I think better, I just wish I was part of this earlier, I just think, we need to do, I'll do my due diligence to try to. What's the plan for the CV part? What are we doing for, I saw there was something that says something about giving back or touching the heritage of CV, like what does that look like?
I think it's just showing off what's out in Allendale. So I thought for sure that local vendors would jump on board. I mean, I can only do so much to get people involved. If you know somebody that should be there, it would be great to get them there, that's for sure. I'm missing something. I'm not from Allendale, so I don't know. But I love it. I love to get more people involved, I think you're gonna be shocked on the vendors that are out there already. And it's a bunch of them from the Blue Crab Festival already. So what you don't know when you see it, but you might be a little more
And if we.
surprised.
Maybe help us to point out some others.
Excuse me, vendors?
Can we have this one?
Do we have a?
You have a list with the.
Kelly does. She was invoicing today, so I will let you, a list of,
The vendors.
Yeah.
Just for like the park boards and that way when they're going through, they're saying, hey, if we need to highlight other areas
Right.
where we know that are missing.
sure. Well, anybody, she sorts out pretty good where there's not a lot of duplication, so, I'll ask her that. She's at a conference right now, so. Or she'd be here. But that's not my, I don't, we don't have any type of stuff. But anybody we can get there, I feel is a good thing, so I love to pick your brain on if we're missing something or some type of vendor, I'd love to get them involved.
Is it possible to kind of do like when you're walking in through the gate, kind of doing like a little history center of Allendale? So like you're walking in, I got my ticket immediately when you come in, this is why we love Allendale, the nature, the history, and highlight everything, and then come and enjoying the camaraderie ship of the community. Kind of like that.
Do y'all have something like that?
I could research and start to make something like that. I put together a food truck festival in 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
3 weeks I could put together.
Like, you we can make it happen. Yeah, if you know what you're trying to express, so yes, there's room for it, right in the gate coming in, you know. All right, so there is that one little gate thing there, that's in the middle. That needs some rework.
Well, that's gonna be one of the missions of the park
Okay.
board. After we get the funds, we need to pay for new gates. More improvements for the park. How can we make sure that it is open from sunrise to sunset for our ordinance, so people can enjoy it?
So if anybody wants to meet down there Thursday, I'm gonna meet with those official at 2. But if anybody wants to meet before that,
I will
and
just add,
and discuss some of that stuff, but there's a structure there now that they made as an entrance.
yeah,
And it's terrible and it's dangerous, it's very bottleneck,
At gate 2,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and that's the entrance to the park of the event was last time.
You're saying where the parking was and then people came in.
Yeah.
And then went to the vendors.
Right.
Not at the gates, actually.
Not at the outside gates,
In park.
Yes,
Okay.
in the middle of.
yeah.
but y'all do have a gate at number 2 that is locked and then you can drive right in and on the left.
Yeah.
If anybody's noticed that.
So-
Yes.
Oh, I was like, that's not.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Problems.
But when you're facing the lake. That
Mm-hmm.
It was
they
the
built
old
something,
loop traffic.
yes, it needs to be modified. I
bottleneck,
think.
too.
It's-
And I'm talking about.
It was the worst. And another thing, just for the record, that was really hard last time was the internet.
We do have the home telecom out there, but it's touch and go and really don't, we have one. Electrical box on like the other side over there, so it's like we have home telecom and then. It's just powered. But it's right there at that gate.
Oh, trust me. So we scanned ticket, we have a ticket company and it was that company, I forget, who are they?
Home telecom.
Home telecom, so they staged all their stuff out there when they're working in the community, so they should. I feel like a call to them, they could fix that real easy, but they left it on public access and it was a nightmare, so we need it, A, with a passcode on it, and B. It'd be nice if they could come out on Thursday, we could tell it. But I felt like, last time that the traffic on the road was hard. And if you lived on Door Road, you didn't know what was going on, you probably were upset. Or you would have known to go around. And then, so getting traffic off that road was a project, but I think that'll work better on a Saturday than on Sunday. I felt like it would maybe right at church let out time or something too. And then the internet was the other, and that front gate is, they're all easy fixes, I think.
I don't know if that would be possible to promote the Bulls Bay Nature Festival, because it's the following weekend. And if you want Allendale, that's, the nature aspect of Allendale. And so there's a way.
Yeah, she's got big hair, yeah. Is there another contact there that could help us with that?
Losing people, that's right.
Right.
Derwin, I would say, but, let me text Trisha.
Okay.
And see, because I think she's planning on trying to get back today to North Carolina, but, it would be a really good idea
Yeah.
if we could promote that heavily, because I think that would help with some of bringing that in, because, they're gonna be Gullah Geechee storytelling and a basket workshop there as well, so.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
We have probably 4 or 5 values, so.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of issues, yeah. Because we even changed the name of it to include the heritage part, so. I'll see what I can do for you.
Yeah, yeah, I know she's busy and she's got personal stuff, yeah. But no, we would love to have her represented out there. I think it's great, and that festival's right up.
It is, it's the following
Yeah.
weekend, so if you want people to come to all and burn all.
Questions?
Any other kind of like signage leading up, because you said that like for driving and stuff, are we gonna have signs along the road?
So
Is there something that we need to post here?
so I'm gonna I have some banners being made, I'm gonna put one in the medium. Probably as soon as it's done, I'm waiting on it to get done, it's got proofs today, so it should be in the next couple of days. But it would be. We bought a bunch of signage and tents for Blue Crab. My company in Youngstown went in and we left them in the back shed. So there's some arrows and some tents that have all on them that we use at the gate. And just some directional stuff. I think Robert had ordered from but we put that in the cost of whatever it was, just to.
Well, some of those tents need some TLC.
Right. Well, and I think if you only have 2 of them in the front entrance to get people in, I think it would be a good look for them.
Do you have a signage for the other door road entrance?
No, but we can look
Because
at
if you're
that.
getting people from Georgetown and stuff, that's much better way for them to come in.
Right, that's good.
Yeah.
So we can, yeah, I'll just double that banner up, maybe we'll put one with the arrow that way.
Yeah.
Doing the same.
And I think that was a major part of the confusion. Following, some people follow to come all the way here, and they could just on the other side, and you would have an easier journey in than everybody coming from.
Yes.
Right.
And that's
Split that,
right
and
where
they can
that
go into-
Tom's place is gonna be.
Sure.
It's right.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like that, that's perfect. So we just set it up as two entrances, just when you come and go inside. I like it. I hope we cover some of that with the police on Tuesday, on Thursday, so.
I worked parking at the Blue Crowd with JRTC last time, and the exit was an issue.
Yeah.
Right, so maybe that's something to talk with police about, is which way are we going?
I
Because we were
think-
trying to go both ways, and people were coming in,
Yeah.
and it was a big bottleneck on the exits.
So in those situations, you make everybody right, we're not stopping, so it's just a little bit of.
That's fun.
Communication, people working together, but it's just good to have police telling people what to do, because they usually do. And they're like, well, dude, right there, you're like, no, go that way, go around.
Has Explore Charleston reached out to you?
Yes. Yeah.
So Explore Charleston is, it used to be the Charleston Area Visitors Convention Visitors Bureau. And they do advertising for the entire Charleston area. And they just picked up the All Fest as well, and so they're helping advertise it.
Yes, Lori Lynn's helping. So they're gonna sponsor something too, so. So they're gonna sponsor something, and they're gonna put it on the events calendar, I think she just still got to talk to 2 days ago, so.
Anything else that you need for us to kind of think of, because we have another meeting scheduled next week too.
Okay, I'll come, I think Thursday we can detail some stuff out. And if we're lacking anything, we can figure that out. But I think just getting in the shed and seeing what we got. Because we were, I felt like we were covering pretty hard coming into there. We had signs, more than we needed probably on that road, but maybe divide those up and make sure the arrows work the right way as for the other entrance as well. Just doubling that down, I think makes a lot of sense.
One other question, we talked about the bank statements. At one point, this committee had asked me to review all the financials as they come through, review the money, just so we could report back to the town. At that point, we were independent. We were gonna report back and said, yep, this all looks good, or it doesn't, so there wouldn't be questions about that. Does this committee still want me to do that, or does the town wanna do that now, or how do we? No, I wanna do what the committee wants, I'm happy to do it,
I mean,
I
I
have 40 years of experience.
think I do, I think it'd be important to have, especially when you go over, I don't even know our budget yet for whatever we're doing, so, I think, yeah, yeah.
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 If we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got, I was with him all day today, so
Okay,
Randall
so-
catching up with you tonight.
Committee wants me to do it, we'll get on that.
So,
Yeah.
We have to work, yes. Okay.
So, I like to do this training from like the first one for like a brief FOIA and ethics discussion. Welcome. Thank you for volunteering, for being on the board again, being on the official board. A couple of things when we do discuss for like Freedom of Information Act. So whenever there's 5 or more of y'all together, so if you're at somebody's house, you're at the restaurant, or you're waiting for the meeting to discuss, or we're at the meeting on Thursday, if there's gonna be more than 5 of us, that is considered a public meeting. This also includes text chains and emails. That is all public information. So when we start hitting reply all on any emails, you'll notice that whenever I send out communication, I blind copy everybody. So that if you do accidentally hit reply all, it's only going to me. So we don't run into that area of accidentally hitting an illegal meeting being discussed. That's the big thing. If there's any communication with any outside vendors, because you guys do not have a town email address, since they are open to public information related to town business, always copy me on it, or you can copy our town clerk, Donna Steve, on that email as well. So it's on our server, and that's with anybody with an @townofallendale.sc.org email address. That way, whenever, if we get a FOIA request and it says, I want to look at everybody's single email address related to the office, I would have to go in and search for those, and it would be since this first meeting. Since the board has started. Any questions on that?
I do have a question, and I understand all that you said. Well, my question comes, and maybe it's for, legal purposes. But when it says that we're not official in such a month, I'm a little bit not clear, because this is conducting business.
I did check with our town attorneys related to that, which is why it's taking so long to set up the meeting. They said that we were good to go for like the July. While it starts with the start of the fiscal year, our town attorney said since we do have the festivals coming up in May, we do need to conduct business, and he said we were okay with scheduling it as long as we met the other requirements. If the Freedom of Information Act, so the agenda was posted, it's publicly, the public is able to attend. And everything that is discussed has like a meeting.
Does he need to put that,
I did get that in writing.
I mean, so it's law. So as you're saying, as we're talking, no one's coming back, questioning this meeting. I understand saying we're good to go. But legally, is it in writing that we're good to go?
Yes, it's legally in writing that we are.
Yeah, cause I thought about it several times, and I was. based on the FOIAs and everything else, I couldn't get it clear how the two meshed.
I cleared it with our legal counsel before scheduling the meeting, just to make sure that everything that was discussed is above board.
Okay.
So I have a question now that we're kind of on to the other thing. From a messaging standpoint, I'm on the committee and it's still unclear to me if the park is open or closed.
The park is technically open from sunrise to sunset, but this is going to be the discussion of the committee on how we operate those kind of logistics. How do we fix the gate? Obviously, there's a set of cones that are set up by gate 2.
Yeah.
But it's just cones. Do we want to get other different gates? We have some quotes, but that will be something that we're gonna discuss later on after the festival, because right now it's kind of festival grown, and then, okay, when you look at the park, what improvements do we need to do? Are we able to put call boxes out on the pathway as people go, which we are able to do, so that
Signs, we need signage.
We need a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we need all those things, but it's open, so if you're a citizen, you wanna go walk around there,
yes,
dawn does.
yes.
But
there's no
for
alligators.
everyone in the county now.
Well, that's I
I'm
think it's
concerned
an
about
important
liability
point,
in that.
because people are using it,
Yeah.
and I can tell you there's. Trucks back there,
At
muddy,
night.
tearing it up and behind the lake, there's fishing going on, which. That's fine, but there's no, and once we have this all fest, it's gonna be like, wow, that's awesome, which is what we want. But we as a committee have to decide, are we ready to go? We don't have any,
Nothing.
it's open dawn to dusk,
Who's closing
yeah,
that?
who is enforcing, hey, you can't drive your 4x4 on this pathway? Right, who's
Right.
enforcing dogs, you know, are dogs allowed off leash, on leash, those type of things, so, I'm not being.
Well, one of the-
being
I think
critical,
one of the-
we have to decide that, because once we have
It's open.
that event, which was originally like, that was our open
That was
day.
yeah.
I
Right.
think we'll have
I
to
don't
do
know.
rules of the park though, because once, well, that'll have to be one of the first
Yeah.
things we post, because then as a resident, I can call the police and they go out, but I have to post the rules of the park,
Right.
so.
Right.
And I think
not
the
prioritizing
office-
that.
To your point, maybe the office.
Be nice to have that,
Some
even if it's a
have
temporary
that.
sign.
Like, the park is now open, however, you have to park in this designated area. Foot traffic only, bikes are allowed, dogs are allowed on leash. I think we need that before Ozfest, because we're hopefully gonna have a couple thousand people see how great the park is, and they're gonna come back.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I guess it could be a funding issue. To get signages up in 2 weeks. Yeah.
There's money in the end.
There's money in the account, but in order to produce a sign like that, will take longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Cause you have to design it, you have to get make sure that it meets the required specifications and that it's correct. It does take longer than 2 weeks.
So what's the liability of the town for allowing people in there? What somebody, there's big alligators in there. What happens if somebody gets hurt? Before we have any signs or any hours posted or anything?
Well, technically, there are signs that are there from like when the park was done, but it doesn't have the new rules and regulations. I'm not 100% sure on the liability. Because there are signs posted around the lake that do say that alligators are here. Don't go swimming. Yeah, but
I think that's a really good question because. Maybe it shouldn't be open until those signs are posted because of the liability. I mean, my gut would tell me it should not be open unless we had signs posted or we'll get sued.
I agree.
I think we should, can we ask the legal?
I think it would be at least a
Somebody
question.
step in a hole and break their ankle. And I don't know if it's good enough that it's posted online and, can you do a temporary sign, but, or I would imagine it have posted at the entrance of the park. That.
I just was writing myself a little note to just get that clarification. Yeah. I mean, the quickest thing to do would just be getting a QR code on the sign and it just leads it directly to.
Yeah.
Our website, but I'm not sure how quickly that 2 weeks is not. Enough time to get like a good sign.
You can get a QR code though.
I can get a QR code, but like something that'll stay and not be weatherproof, making sure that it is. Accessible, making sure that it checks with those boxes, it just takes a little bit longer.
Oh, sure. Sure, I'm just. We don't.
We'll go drive those posts out there, you get to know it's fun.
Yeah, that's the way we do things here.
We'll get. Oh.
Please don't.
No, people do their own thing, yeah. People will be happy now.
And then, for the ethics, it's mainly for when to recuse and when not to recuse yourself from a conversation. It's always deals with money, so if you own your own company, you own your own fencing company, and we're going out for the gate contract and you wanna submit a bid, but you can't, or you have somebody from your company submitting a bid. You wouldn't be able to vote on that ethically. The ethics commission will come and find you. So that would be when you would recuse yourself. It's also ties to a family member, and what the ethics commission defines a family member as is your significant other, your immediate family, so your brother, your sister, your grandfather, grandmother. It doesn't go out to aunts and uncles, but usually if it is kind of like in that scope and you are related to them, it would be wise to recuse yourself. Now, the staff would give you an advice to say, hey, this looks like it could be optics wise. You might want to recuse yourself, but I legally cannot tell you when to recuse yourself and when not to recuse yourself. I also state for like, if you're a member, like a chairman of a board that is coming before the board and then discussing with it. So saying like, I'm part of the senior center and I'm on the board of the senior center and I get to decide how the money is being spent, and you're deciding to use them as a charity. I would recuse yourself because you're able to decide where that money's going. So you're kind of saying, putting your hands in two different pots. Now, if you're just a general member and you do not have any say over what that, how the funds get spent, you fall into the large class category, and then you don't have to recuse yourself. It's just making sure that whenever somebody reads these meeting minutes and they say, well, so-and-so voted to apply for, spend this kind of money on this company or giving it to this donation to this charity, but they're a part of the board, it would be an ethics violation. So just trying to make sure that you're above board. If you ever have questions and you're like, hey, Catherine, I have a question about this. It's not technically in here. Should I recuse myself? Should I not? I would help you do that research. I am here to help you succeed. So if you guys have any questions about the Freedom of Information Act or the ethics or anything else that is going on, so like, I will send you guys a copy of the contract. It might not be tomorrow since we're talking about the budget tomorrow at our budget retreat with council, but it will probably be Thursday and I will try to be there at the walkthrough as well. If more than 5 of you would like to attend that walkthrough, I will put an advertisement out that states that the municipal park board will be present. There'll be a quorum, but there'll be no discussions or votes made. But it just notifies the public that you guys are going to be in a quorum out there.
Can we go ahead and do that, just on the assumption that there may be more than
I
5 of
can't
us?
go, I'm out of town.
Okay, I'll plan on being there. Okay, well, it may not be necessary then.
So the 3 of us,
Yeah, I'll be out of town.
these 3 of us.
Okay, can you be there? Awesome. Okay. Oh, that's.
So it looks like it's gonna be for us.
Yeah.
Making sure that it's on my calendar.
So just for the record, if y'all want to, meet a little before or after the 2 o'clock.
Now, I can
Okay.
come for a little while before, because my meetings.
So I'm just saying,
are
where we can talk about stuff, is
Yeah. Do you want
I
to do
don't
one?
want it to be a free for all with those people there, meaning. We're trying to accomplish the day of walkthrough stuff.
You say 1?
Yeah, I just feel like if we like.
We could brainstorm.
About the things like, taking away from their times, so.
Yeah, because that would be, fire, rescue, EMS,
Yeah,
sheriff's office, yeah.
it's just a lot of.
But there's-
Showing me the day is what I said.
Oh, yeah,
So we want to meet at 1, and then we can brainstorm around some things, and then speak with them
Well,
too.
does that work for you? So,
Okay.
does that put us at 5?
You don't count me when you're counting the
Okay,
board
right.
members.
Okay.
I could be there for that 1 o'clock, I have time to be in. And I'll then I'll close it at 2.
So that would
I would
be.
just go ahead and make it be said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right, because what if somebody else comes and add that? I need to.
and we're gonna be meeting at the park, or are we meeting here and then going to the park?
I say at the
Yeah.
park, let's be at the park.
Cause the, we have to notify people of where the event, of where the meeting is going to be held. How many, like, a quorum will be present, but no discussions or votes will be made until. We meet back here, yeah,
So can you tell me what that address is?
7900 Door Road.
Yes.
It's 7900 Door Road, there's also, but it spans between, because it's multiple parcels, 7997.
2 years.
Yeah. So it's all of those parcels combined. And I do have, I know Sheila that you asked about getting information about how the park was founded through the, through the Charleston County funds, Greenbelt funds. Would members of the committee like to see the deed? Were you looking for the deed?
No, or I'm just trying, I've got pieces in my head. I just need to put everything together, so I'm clear with where we are to school, that's all I'm trying to do. But for my own clarity.
Sure.
I mean, I know I've heard a discussion about being don't get me wrong, but we've gone through, starting to try to do more along to having Tom, to now having Miss Marie, so it's changed so. So I'm just wanting to be clear where I am.
Sure. No worries, I can send, what I can do is I can send the ordinance that was just adopted, so all park numbers, so it goes over what the rules and regulations are for the park, with like dogs, no fireworks and stuff like that, and then also what the mission of the park is.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that,
That was saying.
that's the, it's the ordinance,
Yeah.
yeah, they have a copy of the ordinance. Well, Jeffrey, you wouldn't have that, because I don't have your.
I will send it out.
There are some strange statements. Like so limited hunting or wildlife stuff.
But that was written by our attorneys.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's.
And adopted by council. Okay, yeah.
I could do a little more question about as far as the funds for the fest, so let's just say hypothetically, if it doesn't. I'm optimistic that it will work out really well, but let's just say we break even, we made 20 grand for the whole entire thing. Are we taking a 10 grand loss and you just get it? Are we splitting it even, are we liable just for taking a loss?
Well, I agree with your question.
Okay.
I don't have all the answers on that.
It's in the contract, y'all should leave, get that.
Yes.
If anybody had seen this, you see it
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
that way.
I know I stated a lot of scary stuff with FOIA and how you guys can trip up or like open the town for a lawsuit, but the safest bet. So if you ever have a question, just ask me. Give me a call, shoot me a text. My cell phone is on the bottom of my email chain, that 843-224-7159. So if you guys ever have anything, or you can send me an email, it's always gonna come to the town administrator one. No, it's a long email address that they gave me. And we'll start moving forward from there. Do any other of the board members have comments?
Thank you for being here today. It's been a long journey, but we're here, y'all. I moved to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Very good.